Hey everyone, and welcome back to our virtual bites cooking class. This week, the long-awaited sushi class. I know a lot of you have been looking forward to it, so we are going to be making that today. We are doing a vegetarian sushi. We're just going to be putting in carrots, cucumber, and avocado. We don't want to be putting in any fish here. We do have a fish allergy on site, so we're taking that into consideration. It's also a little bit more challenging to work with. So if you're just starting out and you've never had sushi before, vegetarian sushi is the best way to go to kind of start to see what it's like. And then when you get more experienced, you can buy fish. At home, I used smoked salmon, I'll use tuna, different things like that, but we'll just stick to the basics today. So like I mentioned, come on over here, Jess. These are going to be our key ingredients, our avocado, our cucumber, and our carrots. We also have prepared sticky rice. And I'm going to show you, this is the package we use. So it doesn't look like a regular long grain white rice. This is a sticky rice. It's smaller pieces of rice, and it's going to obviously be stickier. So we've pre-cooked that as well. Now your recipe below is going to talk about adding in some rice wine vinegar and some sugar. We're cheating a little bit in our video, and we're actually using a sushi rice seasoning. So we're going to be adding that into the rice. This rice is cold. We cooked it way early this morning, left it in the fridge. You don't want to be making sushi with hot rice. So that's going to be cold. And then over here, we have our nori. This is our seaweed paper. So it comes in a package like this. There's about 10-15 sheets in there, so you'll get quite a bit out of that. And then some water just to help us with assembly, and some soy sauce to finish at the end. Now, when we're making our sushi, we want to have nice fine strips, julienne strips of our vegetables inside. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. And this is a great time to really hone in on our cutting skills. So with our carrot, we talked about this a few weeks back. We're going to take just a little strip of it off just so we can get that face, so it's not going to roll around. And we're going to make our matchsticks like this. Whoop. And that's why we want to always be careful with knives. I'm going to take that face down this way as well. And this will help us. Now my knife is a little bit short for this carrot, but that's okay. A couple weeks ago I was being lazy in the kitchen, and I decided that I was going to grate some cheese without cutting the block properly first, and I ended up grating my knuckle. I have a little bit of scab still left, but I mean, I work in the kitchen quite often, and I still cut myself, so it's always important to use your safety skills, not rush with things, because even those of us who've been doing it for a little while can still get hurt. Okay, so our practice of tip of the knife and drawing it through, just like this, and we want this matchstick size. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I find the nice matchsticks make it nicer for building the sushi, so I don't have one big hunk of carrot. And you don't need very much. This piece of carrot here will probably be enough for the sushi that we're going to be making today. I personally, I don't know about you, Jess, but I personally don't like leftover sushi. I find the seaweed gets, it soaks up the moisture that's in the rice and gets very soggy. So we're just going to make enough for us to snack on here, unless, Jess, do you like leftover sushi?
No, not really.
Yeah, it takes on a weird texture.
Almost gets soggy.
Yeah, really, yeah. We tried a couple times getting takeout from sushi restaurants, and it's still good, but it's just not the same as when it's made fresh in your in-house. So we've got our matchsticks almost all done here. And again, this comes with practice. Once you know what you're doing with your knife and you feel comfortable, that took us barely any time at all to get those carrots done. I'm gonna leave this carrot as an extra, but we probably won't need it. And then with our cucumber, we're gonna go halfway down, all the way through. Now we don't want a lot of the seeds to go inside. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna quarter it, right down the quarter here. And then I'm gonna stand it upright, and I'm just gonna take my knife and I'm just gonna kind of cut off those seeds part. That's where a lot of the moisture is. It's a lot of the water flavor. I really want the texture, I want the flavor that's in the skin of the cucumber. And then that nice bright skin also looks so nice when it's wrapped in the roll of the sushi. And you can put anything you would like in your sushi. You can do sweet potatoes, you can do all kinds of stuff. And actually on the back, I noticed on the back of the packaging, it actually had some suggestions. You can do fruit sushi with mango, beef, chicken, pork. It doesn't have to just be a fish product just because it is sushi. So we've got some of our nice sticks there. And again, I'm going to take this one, grab it carefully at the top, and just take out those seeds. Just like that. And then get those nice fine cuts along here. There are products out there that you can buy that will do nice julienning for you. Some special mandolins nowadays have julienne pieces on them, but good old knife works just as well, and it keeps us fresh on our knife skills. Probably get another piece out of that one. There we go. Get 2 pieces there. There we go. So we've got our cucumber, our carrots. I'm going to leave that off to the side. I might need that later, but if not, then I can add it in for a snack later. Now this is an avocado. We've done this way long time ago. Last summer we talked about an avocado. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut into it. And kind of with avocados, we just hope for the best when we cut into them. This is my only avocado, so I'm really hoping that it's okay inside. It feels soft enough. So you're just going to go around the outside edge. There's a gigantic pit inside, so you're going to give it a twist. And you'll pop it open.
Oh, it's perfect.
And then we're going to, now very carefully, you can get an adult to help you with this, but you're going to give that pit a little whack and a twist. Oh, see, there we go. And then that should just pop right out, just like that. And then you can go ahead and throw that away. Okay, and then for our avocado, for this, sometimes what we've done in previous videos is we've cubed it. What we're actually going to do is we're going to skin it right now. So we're going to carefully peel off that skin. Just like this. And it is okay that there is some brown parts. Our avocados don't need to be perfectly green all the time. They are still fine to eat, just like that. And I mean, yeah, now that we're getting into the skin, we can, there is a little bit of yuck right here, so we'll probably cut that out. Just a little bit that did stick on, just like that. What we're going to do is we're going to make really thin slices with our avocado here and try to keep it kind of together. Just like this. And the reason we're doing it this way instead of mashing it or making cubes is it's going to be easier to lay, see, like that. It's going to be a lot easier to lay in our rolls as we get there. So again, just going to cut through here just like this. Oh, that one stuck. Little too thin on that piece there. Just like that. So we've got all of our prep work done. There we go. So we've got carrot, avocado, and our cucumber. I'm going to give my hands a little rinse, and we're going to get started in with the rolling. So now that I've got my hands cleaned up, we're going to go ahead and make sure our rice is seasoned. So with this, we are using 1/4 cup of seasonings. So I'm just going to crouch down, make sure I've got my 1/4 cup. And this is just a mixture of rice vinegar, some sugar, and it just enhances the flavor of the rice. So go ahead and we're just going to drizzle that all over. You can do this as well when it's hot, and it'll start to soak up the flavor. I did a little bit when it was warm and I tasted it and I wasn't super thrilled with the flavor, so I'm adding a little bit more in. Okay. And that rice will absorb it by the time we're ready to go. Okay, so then we've got our rice. I have a bowl here with some cold water. That's going to be for my fingers to make sure the rice is going to be very sticky. So I'm going to be using that to help with the rolling. And then I have one of these. This is called a sushi rolling mat. It's a bamboo mat. This is not a step you need to make sushi. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can just use regular saran wrap. I received this actually as a present years ago, and I find it does help with the rolling. If you have a mat, or you do go out and get one, I find also it's best to cover it with saran wrap, because then the rice doesn't get stuck in the little holes for this. But again, if you don't have one, it's not a big deal. Just lay a piece of saran wrap down. So you're gonna be very careful when you open this up in here. And you're gonna notice that your sushi has kind of a dull side and a shiny side. So this is very shiny, and then this side is a bit more dull. So we want that shiny side to go down, and you can see there's some line indentations. With that, you want those to be horizontal to your body. So we don't wanna go up and down, we wanna go this way. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover this with sushi. You can take a measuring cup. The package says a cup of sushi rice cooked. I find that's way too much. So I like to just use the spoon and the back of the spoon to help me put the rice out, because I wanna be able to taste the nori paper. I wanna taste my vegetables. I don't wanna get a mouthful of rice. And then we're gonna leave the top little bit with nothing on it, because what happens is we're gonna wet that and then it's gonna stick to itself. So we need a little bit of space. So, and this is messy. This is a messy part. Make sure you have clean hands for this, because you're gonna get your fingers in there. And we're just gonna start to push that down, just like that. And we want a nice even covering right to the ends, okay? Just like that. Probably bring my pot a little bit closer. But we want one nice little even layer. We don't want too many lumps, because again, I want a little bit of rice with my sushi, not a little bit of sushi with my rice paper, or my sushi paper, seaweed. So there we go here, and just like this. So you'll see I'm leaving quite a bit at the top, so that you will have something to roll against when it comes time for assembly. So I've come right to the edge on this side here. And yeah, I mean, if we would have put a whole cup of rice down, that would have been way, way, way too much rice. So now we've got a pretty decent layer. And put a little bit more near the top. It was years and years and years ago, a friend actually showed me how to make sushi, and I never realized how simple it is. And I mean, it takes practice to get the rolling down, but once you do it, it's actually super easy, and it's a really good snack. I've made it at home quite a few times for dinners, things like that. And I mean, I haven't been able to go to a sushi restaurant in about a year, so I've been making it at home for myself. So now we're gonna take our strips of our veggies, and we're just gonna make a nice little row of them. And it's up to you how much. Keep in mind, we're gonna be rolling it on itself. So the more you put into your roll, the bigger your circle is gonna be. So if you want something that's nice and tight, don't put as much filling in. If you want a big roll, you might only get one turn out of it. It's all your own personal preference. So I'm gonna put that in there. And then I'm gonna take my avocado pieces and I'm gonna just tuck those right next to it like this. And I can take that little nub and I can kind of fill that hole in just like this. And I don't like any waste, so I keep mine quite a square. When you do go out to restaurants, you know, they've got it at the end and there's a nice piece sticking out. I don't wanna waste too much when I'm doing that. So this is all I'm doing for this roll. If we then were adding in any fish, or if we had like potato, sausage, you could then add that next to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dip my fingers in a little bit of water. I'm also going to take my finger and just wet that edge piece. So not a lot of water, just at the very end here. I want to do that before I start rolling the sushi paper, because if I did it, see, you can start to see it's starting to curl now, because it's absorbing that water. So I don't want to do it while I'm starting to roll. I want it done earlier. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll over just like this. And I like to do my first few. See, I don't really need the mat, right? But the mat does help me when I want to go nice and tight, because you want that tight, and you can see the pressure that I'm applying. And then I just roll that mat forward some more, like this, to get my next roll and my squeeze. And my roll and my squeeze. But again, if you don't have one, the next roll that I make will make without having the mat, so you can see what it's like. Just like that, and then we take our roll back, and that's our sushi roll, just like that. So I'm gonna place this off to the side on our plate, and I'm gonna make one for each of me and for Jess. And then after I got that roll made, then I'll show you how we cut them. So again, I'm looking to make sure that nice shiny flat side is down. And I'm gonna go ahead with my rice. Put a couple big spoonfuls on there. So that's about a half a cup of rice that we're using. And you can do what you would like. And the sticky rice, normally I say that you can substitute anything, but the sticky rice for sushi really does make a difference. I've made it with white rice before, just your standard minute rice, and it doesn't work. It really doesn't. It doesn't carry the same flavor. It's bigger. It just doesn't really lend itself well to making sushi. This is one of those times where you do need to spend a little bit more time in making sure you've got the proper ingredients, like the nori and the sticky, or you can even buy, it's called sushi rice. So we've got that right to the edge. We've got it all smoothed out here, just like that. Now, if we want it to be super, super fancy, like you see sometimes in restaurants, you can actually flip this over. You can take this, you can flip it right through the rice on the other side, put your fillings in, and then your rice will be rolled on the outside. We're not gonna do that today because it does get a little bit messier, and it's, I think it's important just to learn the basics of how to make sushi in the first place. So we're not gonna get too fancy with it. So we've got that. We've got our cucumber we're gonna add in next, just like that. I tend to make a little bit of a pile between my carrots and my cucumber, and then I like to put the avocado next, and I find that that rolls a lot nicer. And if you're somebody who likes more avocado, you can add in a lot more avocado. If you don't like as much avocado, you don't have to use it. It's all what preference you'd like. I'm using a couple of those pieces just to fill those gaps. And then again, I'm gonna take my hands. Number one, this bowl is really good for cleaning, but since we started with clean hands, it's okay to use a little rinse. And then we're gonna dot the end of our sushi paper. And then same thing, we're gonna pick it up on this side. We're gonna fold it over. And this time I'm gonna roll it without the mat, so you can see what it's really like a burrito. We're just rolling it, but you wanna still have that pressure in there to really make sure that the rice is sticking. So I'm folding and pushing, like a little bit that's coming out, but that's okay. And then you can really see then how the sushi, the nori paper, the seaweed paper with that water on it will stick, and I wanna give it a really good kind of roll with it, just like that. So it does give you the same effect as we were with the sushi mat. It's one of those things that's a cool kitchen gadget, but not 100% necessary. So now you can keep going. Like I said, there's about 10 to 15 sheets of nori in a package, usually one roll. That's a lot of rice in there for one person, so one roll is usually good enough. Unless you're my husband, he can probably eat 3 or 4 of these. And I'm sure Jess's partner as well could probably eat quite a bit of sushi. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you then how we cut it. It's important for this step to have a very sharp knife. And you do not want a serrated knife. You want a very sharp blade. So I'm gonna take this. I like to make sure that my seam is down. Sometimes those seams will release if you haven't pushed it hard enough. I'm actually gonna move this here. So what I like to do is I like to cut my sushi in half. We can get about 8 pieces of sushi from a roll. So I usually go in half. You want it down and then just pull right through, okay? Then roughly I've got half. So then I'm gonna go in half again, down. I wanna try as little as possible to saw. Try to get one motion down and pull through. And then here's my last cut. And I'm not showing you guys for a reason. That way it's more of a surprise at the end. And you can see how cool it looks when it's rolled. So, just like this. And then you can see you've got these really tight little rolls in there. You can see the carrot, the cucumber, the avocado, the rice that's surrounding it. You will usually have 2 bigger ends on that. And then we're gonna go ahead and do our second one. So again, I'm gonna come cut in half, one big cut through. Leave that off to the side. I'm gonna go in half again. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's kind of the best way to make sure you get your 8 pieces of sushi from it, like that. So then we'll come and put these ones on the plate here. You can even put scrambled egg inside of your sushi, shrimp, calamari, anything that you can buy at the store. If you're going to use a raw fish, please make sure that you go to a fish market and ask for sushi grade fish. Do not just take the fish that they sell at the store, because we want to make sure that the raw fish is safe for you to eat. You need to make sure you buy sushi grade quality fish. We don't want anyone to get sick from eating raw fish. Or do what I do, stick to, I take a canned tuna and I add in spicy mayo to it and I make my own. And then I know that that's going to be safe. So there we go. That is our beautiful plate of sushi. It's nice and colorful. It's fresh. It's healthy. I like to add soy sauce as a little bit of a dip. And soy sauce can be very heavy on its own. So if I have a little of this leftover mixture, I'll thin it out just a little bit. And that just helps enhance the flavor a little bit, but take away some of the salt that we get from soy sauce. So I'm just gonna give that a swish. Traditionally, when you're eating sushi, the soy sauce is where you put the fish on. You don't really wanna be putting this whole piece in because the rice is gonna suck up that soy sauce and it's going to be way too salty. Traditionally, you would take your piece with the fish on it and dip it in. And the other thing with sushi is we want to do this all in one big bite. We don't want to, sushi etiquette, we take it all in one bite, we don't do two. So you are going to watch me on camera, a little bit of a dip just there, and I'm going to take this whole piece in my mouth. That's really good. I guess my sushi skills are getting much better. Jess is going to pause the camera while I finish eating this. So now that I finished that piece of sushi, that was it. It's very simple to make. And the other thing I want to bring your attention to is sometimes when we have foods that are more exotic or fancy, we think they're going to cost a lot more money. You can buy this from any grocery store. Most places in town do sell seaweed now. Way back when I kind of started cooking, it was usually only Superstore. But Metro, Safeways, they all have this, and it is not expensive. For about these 15 sheets, it was only a couple of dollars. So the most expensive thing you're looking at is your fresh vegetables. But I mean, we still have quite a bit of rice here, and we only used half that package of rice. So everything else will last you a couple of times over. So it can be scary to try new things, new exotic flavors that we're not used to. And be scared of the cost as well. But this is something that is a pretty low cost meal that we can put together here. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have fun experimenting at home. Always take pictures of yourselves doing your cooking or even videos and send them in to us at getting the gtgame@tbaytel.net. So GTGAME@tbaytel.net. We love to see what you guys are doing. We're bored of being around here with no kids. So this is a way that we can see you guys in action a little bit. Next week, I think we're going to be maybe making some French toast roll-ups. We will see what happens. Hopefully we will be back at the club soon. But if not, we've got a whole slew of recipes that you can be following. Jude, our student's got tons of workout videos. He did an excellent one about just going for a walk and just getting outside in the fresh air. Today it's gorgeous outside. I went for a walk myself earlier. I wasn't feeling that good. And I was outside for 5 minutes and I just came in and felt so much better. So stay active, stay healthy, stay experimenting in the kitchen, and we'll see you next time. Bye.